guys. Yeah, so today's video is about the golden cage. So this is in the journal. I'm not sure, I think it's day 3 or day 4. Don't count me on that one, maybe it's day 2. Anyway, I'm doing this before the journal is completely finished. I'm actually going now to put the finishing touches on. Technically, I probably should have that in front of me right now, but not important. That's one of the things that, you know, the 80-20 rule, where I can spend 80% of my time looking up that stuff to get 20% of the results. Whereas right now, if I just skip that right now and go, you know what, it's day 2, it's day 3, it doesn't matter. And I can also link this video afterwards to the journal when I actually find it, then I get 80% more results for 20% of the effort. So keep that in mind, guys. Sometimes we like to use perfectionism as an excuse to why we can't do things, when really it's just fear keeping you in place. You think you're not really being afraid because you're making sure you're doing everything really right, when you're not. You're just making sure that you're not doing anything, and it's a great way to stop you from getting this video done and sounding like an ass. But anyway, that's just my real point. So the point being, the golden cage. So some people call it the golden handcuffs. It can be the golden cage, but for me, it's not just about the money situation. So if you're not familiar with it, most people are, but just in case you're not, and that's not judgment if you're not, the golden cage or the golden handcuffs are when you have got so much money coming in that you feel like you can't quit. You may be miserable, you might not be happy, but it gives you a lifestyle that you're very comfortable with, and that you're afraid that without this money, you won't be able to have the lifestyle you want, or maybe you'll have to give things up. So you stay miserable in order to have things you think you want. And I say you think you want because obviously you're making yourself miserable for them. How badly do you really want these things? And I think what it comes down to is much less the money and more the prestige. Again, it comes down to a bit more self-esteem. What do you really want? And how have you been taught to want and think of yourself? And so for some people, you know, most people, you know, let's face it, it's very difficult to break this. And even I struggle with it on a regular basis, and I've been working with this for a very, very long time, is to start thinking, okay, what do you want? And what do you really want? And when most people start thinking things like things or jobs, and this is one thing I really love about Danielle Laporte, and I recommend this in the journal too, that her work is fantastic and really worth digging into, is that you start thinking, start focusing instead on the feelings. You know, you think that a shiny new car is going to make you feel successful and rich and make people look at you and go, yeah, I want to be her, and therefore that makes you a better person. But of course it doesn't. You know, like, it'll give you that high, and maybe you start identifying with that car, but you're dealing with external issues. You're not looking at the inside at all. You're not going deep. You're not diving deep, guys. You're keeping it pretty much at a surface level. You're swimming. You're not diving. And so this is one thing that the journal and the golden cage is asking you to look at. That what is it in your life that you would really like to change? What do you really want? How do you want to feel? And what will really give you those feelings? And the point is that it's actually quite difficult to do. It sounds so easy. It sounds like that this is not something that's going to be a challenge whatsoever, but of course it's going to be a challenge. We have been told our entire lives through media, through movies, through packaging, through brainwashing, basically. But I mean, whatever, the images alone aren't enough, but we as a society just build on of it, that these are the things that make life good. And of course they want you to believe that. They want you to buy your happiness, or to think that happiness is purchasable, and more important, that you could only buy it from them. And then because of this, society in general, people who really love you and care for you, honestly start going, well, they're worried about you, and you can't blame them. They love you, and they don't want you to make mistakes. And so making safe career choices actually are things that they feel like is protecting you. And you know, maybe it is. Maybe you really want to be a doctor, and you should be. But maybe you really want to be a cook, and instead you're a doctor because everyone feels like you had the quote-unquote brains to be a doctor. And I put that in quotes because you can have the brains to be a cook too, but most people don't. They think it's quote-unquote a waste. And I think that's a horrible way to be thinking, and it's something that we really need to stop. And it takes active, conscious thought to stop this. That it's not easy to turn around and say, you know what, actually, why do I really think this? Where did I get this idea? Because my parents have always said it, because my teachers have always said it, because TV has told me it. And of course, it's never that simple. It's everything combined into your personality. But until we start looking at that big ball, start pulling apart where these things are coming from, understanding how these threads get tangled up in our lives, we'll never truly be free of it, and we'll never truly be able to define the life we want based on what we want. And so that's what the journal entry and what we should be thinking about this week is, am I in a golden cage? Is it so shiny that I'm pretending that I'm not happy in here? Or am I just happy that other people look at my cage and go, well, at least it's not rusty? Because some people would rather that, or you think you'd rather that you'd rather live in a cage that is shiny because other people go, ooh, my cage is rusty and I'd rather a shiny cage. And that's not the way to be. And you keep seeing this like nice sun thing, but you know, I don't care. Anyway, so it's me rambling, getting used to doing these videos, but it is something I would like us to think about this week. And yeah, like I said, guys, practice, 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 practice. This is me practicing, this is me starting, but this is also something that's passionate for me, and I do actually want to perfect talking about it, and I want you to think about it. So jump on any ideas, conversations, Facebook group down below. It's all the same. I will be reading it. Tends to be more action in the Facebook group though. Okay, see you guys.